The Walt Disney Company has a brand new boss and a whole lot less employees. The Disney Company has gutted 1,000 employees in a massive layoff that has swept through divisions that were once overseen by its new president, Dana Walden. But however, no pink slips were issued to park employees. Let's talk about it today on That Park Place. Guys, this is probably the biggest Disney story since Josh D'Amaro has become CEO. 1,000 job cuts. And I mean, when you look at this in the grand scheme of Disney layoffs of the past, I believe Bob Iger cut something like what, 7,000 8,000 people at one point. So I think, but I think Josh, a lot of people are kind of unfairly pointing the finger at Josh on this one. And I'm like, look, the division that Josh ran, nobody got fired from there because that division was doing okay. The divisions overseen by Dana Walden and Bob Iger, however, those divisions were the ones that were gutted with 1,000 layoffs. So let's take a look at it here. It's from thatparkplace.com from today, written by me. The Disney layoffs began this week and are sending shockwaves through the company, with roughly 1,000 employees impacted in a sweeping restructuring effort that touches everything from marketing to Marvel. So the scope of the layoffs is significant. The company eliminated approximately 20 roles within its publicity departments while also cutting the entire home entertainment team. The EPK, Electronic Press Kit Unit, was also shut down, along with multiple high-level digital marketing roles, including senior leadership positions. Now, the impact, however, was not just limited to marketing teams. Marvel saw major reductions across several departments, which include film and television production, comics, finance, and legal. While Disney pushed back on claims that the cuts reached as high as 8% of Marvel's workforce, the company acknowledged that the layoffs were part of a broader effort to scale back operations. Now, the reasoning given here was a reduced production slate. I would say the reason is this guy right here, Bob Iger. Josh D'Amaro has only been the CEO for a matter of weeks, making it difficult to attribute the underlying cause of these layoffs directly to his leadership. Instead, the need for such sweeping reductions appears tied to decisions made well before his tenure began under the reign of Bob Iger. Over the past several years, Disney has dramatically increased content output, particularly through Disney Plus, while also restructuring its internal operations around streaming growth. Now, that expansion has now reversed course, with the company emphasizing efficiency and consolidation. But the thing we need to discuss here, guys, Dana Walden's previous divisions are in the crosshairs. Dana Walden, now serving as president and chief creative officer of Disney Entertainment, previously oversaw a large portion of the company's television and content operations as co-chair of Disney Entertainment, while marketing and publicity functions often operate alongside but not strictly within content leadership. They are, however, closely tied to the performance and scale of those divisions. So a lot of this can be laid at the feet of Dana Walden. Culture, true or false?
True.
Thank you.
Yeah, look, you wrote a brilliant article. This one I loved covering this morning. I feel like people are trying to minimize this, and I don't know if anybody else here feels like they're like, well, this is just a small fraction of the employees. I'm like, because the majority of your employees are park employees across the North America. Yep. You know, the people that are getting hit here, these are the people that have been doing a very poor job of not just producing material for you, but of selling the same material to the audience.
Absolutely. And Vash, what we're seeing here, no impact on park operations, but TV and production here, marketing wise, gutted.
Yeah, I mean, this is some big news right here. You know, usually you would have in these separate divisions their own separate silos when it comes to like marketing and the facilitation logistical work in order to bring these products to life. Here, though, we see a very big streamlining. And honestly, this is part of this kind of one Disney vision that Josh D'Amaro actually brought out during the shareholders meeting. Very, very interesting stuff. A campaign being led by, I believe, Asad Ayaz, including in his division, actually. We saw some very senior executives actually be excised from the company, unfortunate as it is. Some people, you know, have been working for the company as long as 25 years, which was a bit surprising to see. But the idea here is...
Home entertainment division, Vash, the home entertainment division, wasn't somebody let go that was been there since like the 90s, like one of the executives, one of the artists or something like that?
Yeah, I believe you're right. I mean, there have been many people who have, this is like senior vice presidents, vice presidents, and so forth, people with real resumes and portfolios that they can attribute to the Walt Disney Company now let go. But the broader idea here is to, like I said, streamline their operations in that, okay, do we necessarily need multiple marketing departments attached to each one of these different silos or divisions, or can we instead have one place to go to? Because here's the thing, we have to be getting the budgets related to these films down. There's just no question about it. Disney has been criticized for years with these 250, 300, 350 plus $1 million budgets, in which they are taking these films out of what would otherwise be profitable ventures, like what you're seeing with some of the other, fiscally responsible studios, i.e. Comcast and others, right? We got to streamline this, and that's, I think, the idea behind some of these cuts, and there might be more coming. That's just the thing. This one Disney organizational structure or campaign is not over, so it's going to be really, really interesting to watch this. Also, too, very sad to see that home entertainment got completely, basically eliminated. That hopefully those roles get outsourced. I believe Pro actually had commentary on this, that maybe they actually, just kind of subcontract that out to maybe Sony or something in order to facilitate Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays, because I think those are very, very valuable, especially to collectors and so forth. So hopefully we see continuation of that. But I mean, this was really striking. Also, too, Marvel, a lot of the visual effects departments also gutted, which I thought was very surprising.
Almost the entire visual effects department, which these are the people that were under the lash under Victoria Alonso for so many years. We have heard a lot of issues with them in terms of being overworked, crunch culture, whatever have you, and that they faced a lot of abuse. Now they're just fired.
Right. Yeah, indeed. And it's so surprising because I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, Forbes actually making the connections between this visual effects department and defining the look for something like Guardians of the Galaxy, or maybe even the Avengers back in the day. Removing those guys, it's kind of like, wow, how do you maintain that consistency across different films coming out? Is this a degradation of Disney's mindset on the future of Marvel? I'm not sure, but maybe as many as 8% of these cuts coming directly from that division.
Right. But let me bring this up for you guys, because what is Disney about to do with Marvel? It is about to spend $700 million on Avengers Doomsday, if these reports that we have heard yesterday are accurate. $700 million on a property that nobody is really talking about or cares about anymore. So could it be, MJ, that we are seeing them gut Marvel at a time where they're going to need to start saving money for Marvel? Because if this movie is a moderate hit, they're still going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, and I think that could be the reason why they cut so many people. They let so many people go. I'm listening to you guys and I'm absorbing everything you're saying, because the three of you, this is more in your wheelhouse than mine. But I think that a clean slate is necessary. Look, sometimes you have to let people go, and you have to bring in fresh ideas, people with different talents and skills that they can bring. I'm going to use some of culture's terminology here. A lot of the stuff we've been given over the last decade or more has been slop.
Neo-Marxism.
Completely. No, yeah, slop and bologna sausage is what we've gotten from, Marvel has been a loss of interest. Marvel was once something that you go out of your way and, buy the tickets to the theaters because you knew it was going to be a really good film that you were about to watch. And it just doesn't attract the audience back into the theaters. So I'm hoping that whatever it is that they're doing in the background, it's going to be giving us better content for the viewers, because the numbers speak for themselves. People are not going to Disney Plus to watch Marvel stuff, that's for sure. They're getting Disney Plus to watch Bluey and other licensed programs, that are not even Disney. So and also Erica said it a long time ago. they had no business buying Marvel, and it's true. They destroyed Marvel the way that they destroyed Star Wars, and that's just where
Well,
I'll
I
leave it.
mean, they didn't. I wouldn't say that they had no business buying Marvel, because under them, Marvel was a billion-dollar powerhouse. They've destroyed Marvel since. They destroyed Marvel because their tactics shifted and they decided to go the ideological approach instead of just continuing to tell good stories. That's why Marvel was destroyed. That's why now these cuts are coming out of Marvel, because culture. Do you think that they are trying to mitigate potential losses? Because remember, this is a movie now, Doomsday, that's going to have to make around $1.5 billion to turn a profit.
Yeah, I think this is a step in that direction. I think that more cynical and logical minds have prevailed right now in the Disney company. I think it's why you're starting to see a pattern shift. Starting over at Pixar with their recent cancellation of the Be Fry or whatever the heck that thing was, and stuff like that. I think they're starting to internalize the pain that they've created because of their adoption of the things that MJ mentioned a few moments ago. Identity politics is the center of all, is not working. It never was going to work because it destroys storytelling before you get to telling a story, and you no longer had any part of a hero's journey. So it retards character development, and I'm using that word properly. I'm just saying, and it creates a lot of issues. And so I think that their expectation, believe it or not, is as muted, and that was a great word that you used in the article, Marv, but is as muted as the audience's lack of hype. There's no hype for anything. I mean, I would say that it's had an impact even on the Sony Spider-Man Brand New Day film. Going into that, I think Marvel, by extension, has hurt their wider brand, which Sony controls. And I think that if I were Tom Rothman, I'd be ready to eat Disney's lunch.
And remember, guys, I want to point out to the chat, the $700 million figure includes marketing. It's 400. What was reported by I can't remember who said it on YouTube. I reported on it yesterday, though. So we have
John Campia.
John Campia.
Yeah.
John Campia said it's a $400 million production budget and a $300 million marketing budget.
Yeah.
Which I actually questioned the $400 million. I thought it was going to be higher than that, because apparently Robert Downey Jr. and the Russos alone are $200 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we've heard some incredible figures attached to this effort right here in order to make the event, well, I should say Marvel brand relevant again. And, some, I think it's been really irregular, some of the maybe hits that have come out of Marvel post-pandemic right there. Obviously, Disney recognizes that they recognize the brand dilution, especially as they just rush to put out content onto Disney Plus in order to fill up that platform with content that hopefully builds subscribers. Didn't quite work out right there. So we are seeing some moves in this area, which I think is very, very good. Obviously, nobody likes to see anybody lose their jobs. I would hope that some of these jobs be attached to maybe the creative forces behind some of the directions that we've been seeing. Unfortunately, I haven't been seeing much of that, at least from the reports that I've read. I think comics did get cut significantly, but that's about all I saw right there in terms of the MCU, and it's really about the facilitation of the products actually coming out right there. So, and marketing, I mean, do we really need a $300 million marketing effort in order to showcase that?
Into your brain? Like they're spending like an entire Captain America: Brave New World on marketing for this movie.
That's insane. Like,
I think they're.
Okay,
I'm just going to add to what you're saying, Vesh. I think they're burying part of the budget into that marketing. I really do. I think the budget's larger and the marketing is smaller. But I think they're going to be willing to admit that they're going to spend more on marketing than they are. Well, yeah, this film was $500 million. I think they're terrified of saying that.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. I mean, it's just crazy. I would definitely understand if you're seeing these tremendous budgets come out of these separate divisions that have their own marketing departments in order to push these films. the degree of efficiency just doesn't quite seem to be there, at least for me, right? And so for an executive working in C-suite, it's like, look, where can we cut? I know that Bob Iger wanted to go ahead and do some marketing adjustments right there because they were just spending tremendous amounts. Unfortunately, I don't think he went far enough. And so Josh DeMauro is saying here, we're going to go ahead and pick up this bag. Now, I will say Lauren had some very interesting comments about this when I actually spoke to him very, very briefly on the subject matter. He was saying, look, if Josh DeMauro really wanted to come out to be the man in charge, he should really make a statement. Maybe this is that statement saying, hey, look, I am the one in charge. I'm the one taking responsibility. Here are some creative decisions or maybe some executive business decisions that we are going to actually involve ourselves in order to make that kind of statement. So strategic-wise, there's some strategy involved here, I would think. I think Lauren is correct on that assessment.
Well, I've also heard that Bob had put this in motion before he left.
Right.
So Bob makes a very unpopular decision and then gets in his escape pod.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a super yacht, actually. Super yacht.
It was only $400 million. Okay.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha. 2 showers on the yacht. Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
You had to have two. You just have one.
But I guess now the question now is, obviously, you can deal with Bob Iger. Not Bob Iger. Josh DeMauro. You could justify his rise to the CEO position because his division was not losing money. How do you justify Dana Walden as president and chief creative officer when you've just had to cut 1,000 employees from divisions that are adjacent to her responsibilities?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, that's like trying to wrap that around my head. It's a lot to put together. It's just like it makes you wonder what's really happening. And he really did leave a mess behind. My gosh, how many billion-dollar investments went down the drain in less than 3 months? And now all this it's just too much within a half a year of time.
Well, guys, the Disney layoffs are happening. Bob Iger may think that he's escaping on the USS Bob Iger, but we have word that justice is coming.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.